Welcome to the kickoff of Phase 2 of the Workers' Compensation Board's Business Process Reengineering. Board executives traveled across New York State in June of 2016, updating stakeholders on our progress of Business Process Reengineering, otherwise known as BPR, and listening to their ideas. This is an update for those who couldn't attend those meetings. The goal of the BPR is to rethink and recreate a workers' compensation system that more effectively and efficiently meets the needs of its participants, injured workers and their employers, insurers, and representatives. During Phase 1 in 2014, the board launched several projects to meet specific goals. Let's begin with an update on projects now in progress. We began developing and implementing the first set of initiatives in September of 2014. These include the medical portal, Payor Compliance, Section 32s, administrative determinations, voluntary binding review, and virtual hearings. Let's take a closer look at each. The medical portal represents a major step forward. It will be available to all parties, providers, insurers, injured workers, and representatives. You will access data based on your role. Medical data will be entered and stored within the portal. Providers will submit requests, and then insurers will respond to them, all within the portal. Injured workers and their representatives will have access to those submissions. Meanwhile, the board will be able to monitor the activity within the portal. The first release will accept treatment requests. Today, providers submit this data on the MG1, MG2, and C4 authorization forms, usually on paper. The benefits of going electronic are substantial. Users will check the status of a request in real time. They'll receive a notification when a status changes. Making submissions will be easier because users will be taken down the right path to submit the correct forms. We'll see faster approvals, fewer errors, and better quality data, and no more paper forms for authorizations. The board holds regular webinars to demonstrate the coming functions. We announce dates and times on our website, through notifications, and on our social media, so we will look for you at the next one. The Payor Compliance initiative is a success driven by the reengineering process. It builds on e-claims with payers now reporting data electronically. Performance standards are in place for timely submission of injury reports and the timely first payment of indemnity benefits. Let's look at the numbers. The performance standard we have used has risen from 70% to 75% to 80%, and in each of these 3 quarters, the overall percentage of filings have met these standards. This is particularly impressive because just a year earlier, before we began monitoring, only 35% of injury reports were on time. The payer community is responding strongly and as a group has met the performance standard in the 3 quarters measured. The rate of timely first payments also rose dramatically. In the first quarter of 2015, only 38% of first payments were on time. Today, 74% are on time, so injured workers are paid within 18 days of injury or 10 days of notice, lessening the burden of missing a paycheck. Performance standards are rising, making the workers' compensation system more efficient. Payers who don't meet performance standards face potential financial penalties. Our new monitoring unit reviews payer performance and enforces these standards. The next element to be formally measured is timely submission of controversies. Other key performance metrics will be evaluated in the future. Cooperation between the board and the payer community is a big reason for this success. We're continually educating and training payers to improve their performance. Our webinars and presentations are posted on the Monitoring and Compliance page of the board's website. We significantly updated Section 32 processing on March 1st. Desk reviews are now authorized, so hearings aren't required in some cases. Approval time should drop to 2 months for the 5,000 cases we expect annually. That opens up calendar time for cases with more pressing issues. Desk review is allowed for cases where all parties request desk review, or cases settling only indemnity, or cases where the injured worker is represented and not a minor dependent. The board will continue reviewing other Section 32 waiver agreements through the hearing process. This new process is included in Rule 300.363. We have made an educational video explaining what a Section 32 waiver agreement is and the process for settling. All workers entering into a Section 32 waiver agreement must watch this video before the board will finalize an agreement. It's on the board's website. We also removed some unnecessary paperwork from the system. We were creating administrative determinations that added no value, so in January we stopped doing them in claims with no outstanding issues and no controversy. That's eliminated 6,000 unnecessary forms in the last 6 months. We can now pay more attention to disputed issues. We'll continue issuing administrative determinations in uncontroverted claims for minor injuries, for uncontested issues within a claim, and for certain penalties, the times when they're appropriate. Next is an update on another improvement, voluntary binding review. VBR, as it's also known, is an alternative to the current appeals process. It's used in claims where a party appeals a law judge's decision on a determination of compensation. Its goal is to resolve appeals within 60 to 75 days. That will reduce the current inventory of appeals. It will cut the time it takes to decide all other appeals, too. Visit the Voluntary Binding Review page on the board's website to learn more. Travel can be difficult for an injured worker, and technology can relieve that burden. With virtual hearings, injured workers and other stakeholders can participate in hearings without coming to board offices. Virtual hearings will use modern and secure audio-visual products, like the equipment you're seeing here. Attending a hearing virtually will be completely optional to all parties. After we successfully complete a pilot program, we will roll out the option of virtual hearings statewide. So how do these projects fit into the overall flow of the BPR? Here's how. In 2014, the board identified 2B recommendations to guide us forward. In other words, it is where we want to go with the system. The board's first goal is redefining its role. We enjoyed open dialogue with stakeholders and key groups. We all increased our collaboration, and that open communication provided plenty of feedback. To keep it going, we created a communication and outreach unit to ensure consistent communication with all stakeholders. We conduct district dialogue several times a year at all district offices across New York State. That is a chance to voice your ideas and opinions. We encourage you to participate. To stay in touch with what we're doing, join our email subscription service known as WCB Notifications. Sign up through the Get WCB Notifications link on the bottom of our web pages to get emails on the topics of your choice. We've discussed our increased system oversight and how the monitoring unit is helping payers meet their obligation to report injuries and pay benefits promptly. Eliminating unnecessary administrative determinations helps reduce board involvement in claims with no dispute. Appeals are moving much more quickly. We restructured our internal processes, and it has been another great success. We reduced the inventory of appeals from more than 8,000 at the beginning of 2015 to less than 5,300 in July of 2016. We reduced the appeals inventory by more than 37%, all while simultaneously handling the new appeals that were received. The vast majority of new appeals are now done in 6 months or less. The introduction of voluntary binding review will help further. The board will continue redefining its role with current projects and future initiatives. Another recommendation was for the board to examine the management and availability of quality medical care. The board continually strives to improve injured workers' access to high-quality medical care. Today, there are many complex paper forms, an antiquated process that does not have the standardization we would like to see. It can be an obstacle to recruit good providers for the workers' compensation system. The medical portal is a major improvement in facilitating the approval and delivery of medically necessary services. Approvals will be received more quickly, so treatment will begin more promptly. It will streamline and replace today's paper-based, time-consuming medical treatment guidelines and C4 authorization processes. On another medically related issue, participants feel independent medical examiners are not truly independent because the party who requests them pays them. Balance is absolutely necessary here, so the board will explore ways to ensure that independent medical examiner selection process operates fairly. Your ideas are welcome, so keep sending them. Finally, the board sees the importance of separating medical determinations from legal determinations in the dispute process. This recommendation calls for medical professionals, such as doctors and nurses, to determine when treatments are necessary and appropriate. Judges will address any associated legal disputes. The last recommendation involves technology. As technology improves and makes more things possible, the board will implement the right technology in the right places. We are using reliable technology to create a portal for system participants to access claim information and other medical issues. Internally, we're replacing our current claims information system. This is the main system we use for claim processing. We are creating a new business information system with current technology to improve our handling of claims. More on that in a moment. This brings us to Phase 2 of the BPR. Phase 2 involves 3 major initiatives currently underway. First, the hearing center experience is being improved across the state. Next, we're redesigning the board's website to make it more useful and friendly. And finally, the board is assembling business requirements to ensure its next business information system is built around the needs board staff and our stakeholders identify as key requirements for well-functioning software. We want you to have a comfortable experience in our hearing locations. We are going to update and improve our hearing centers to make them easier to navigate. We will create enclave space where people can meet. We will also have a greater amount of information more readily available. Of course, we will enhance the center's comfort and put in other features to improve the overall experience. We are developing a hearing center prototype as a guide to improve the experience of those who must attend hearings. A friendlier website that is easier to use is coming. It will be an efficient, seamless experience across all device types, including smartphones. The website will also be a self-service portal for stakeholders. We are keeping you, the user, at the center of our design to improve your overall experience. It will also look and feel similar to other New York State government sites. Pages that have employed these techniques have seen users visit them far more often with greater satisfaction. Your thoughts will be very important in creating the best online experience, so expect us to ask for them. The final piece of the BPR Phase 2 regards our current Claims Information System, or CIS. It's time to replace it. This is a complex undertaking, as you can see in this diagram. Replacing all of CIS at once is not realistic, so we are breaking the effort into components. The first task is the web-based medical portal. The ultimate result will be a new business information system. Your experience will be helpful. When we sought your input before the medical portal project, you had a lot to say. Thank you, because understanding the functions of an effective medical portal helped its design. We are counting on you again as we design a new claims system. Are there processes in the workers' compensation system that technology could improve? If you have any ideas or suggestions, we want to hear from you. We would like to know how you would use technology to help the workers' compensation system function faster, smoother, and more efficiently. Maybe there are things that could be done better, or maybe there are things you want a new system to do. This is an opportunity to identify ideal ways future processes and systems can function within workers' compensation. Email us at bpr@wcb.ny.gov. This is your direct route to make recommendations and share your ideas to improve the workers' compensation system. Finally, we make important announcements on our social media, so follow the board on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for viewing this presentation.